Let us begin our journey of the Yoga of 12 Steps. And my name is Kari. I'm so happy to be here with you all today. I'm a person in recovery. I'm also a daily yoga practitioner and a yoga teacher. And I think what really qualifies me the most for this work is my own practice, my own recovery practice, my own yoga practice. So it's something that I bring to you truly from my heart, something that I am also in the practice of. So I'm very happy to be here with you all today, delivering this experience of Yoga of 12-step recovery. As we like to say in Yoga of 12-step recovery, the issues live in our tissues. And I don't just mean your Kleenex, I mean your actual physical body tissues, that our body stores stuff. It stores our experiences. 100% of the experiences we have in this lifetime is expressed through our body. So today I want to take some time to talk specifically about the Serenity Prayer. The Serenity Prayer is something that has truly transformed my recovery. And I'm going to say the prayer for you. And if you would like to take a moment to steady your body, let's take a deep breath together in through the nose and out. Do that 2 more times. Breath in and out. And one more breath. We'll take a moment of silence followed by the Serenity Prayer. Gods, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Recently, I went to a recovery meeting, and the topic of the meeting was the Serenity Prayer. And I've been to many meetings before talking about the Serenity Prayer. And this meeting struck me in a new way, something that was presenced, that was different. And this might seem obvious, but the Serenity Prayer is a prayer. Oftentimes, I use the Serenity Prayer very utilitarian. I think about acceptance, courage, and wisdom. And I think about the areas of my life where I need to ask my higher power to help me accept the things I cannot change, to have the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And what changed for me was this realization that it's a prayer. So I'm asking God to grant me grace, something that I myself am lacking in the moment is serenity. And very often when I'm saying the Serenity Prayer, my experience is that I rush through the part where I say, God, grant me the serenity. And I want God to just grant me the rest of that, like, please send the acceptance, send the courage, send the wisdom. But the first part of the phrase of the Serenity Prayer is, God, grant me the serenity. And so what I'm actually asking for is serenity, and not necessarily the acceptance, the courage, and the wisdom. I'm asking God to grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, to have the courage to change the things I can, and to have the wisdom to know the difference. And what really struck me that has come to me lately, as far as my insight around the Serenity Prayer, is that I'm asking for serenity because I don't have it. And I'm asking God to give me the grace of serenity. And what I realized is that when I have serenity, when I'm in a mindset of serenity, when my body feels serene, when my breath, my nervous system, when I am in a space of serenity, a natural extension of that serenity is acceptance, is courage, is wisdom. And so that when I can ask my higher power for serenity, I become available to so many other outputs. I am available for acceptance. I am available for wisdom and courage. And so it really, the focus of what I'm saying for today, for not only our yoga practice, but for this brief talk, is asking our higher power for serenity because we don't have it. We're asking for God's grace. And that serenity will help to bring other states of being. I have never in my life personally been in a tizzy or in some type of, crazed mood or feeling moody or aggravated or any of the agitation feelings that I have. I've never been in one of those personal states and felt accepting or wise or courageous. And it's really when I'm in a state of serenity that I have more emotional capacity, more availability, more willingness to be accepting, courageous, and wise. And so serenity is actually what I'm asking for. Although I would love acceptance, courage, and wisdom, serenity will really open up the portal for all of those things to happen. So if I can focus on getting my body, my mind, my breath, my spirit into a state of serenity, into that welcoming energy of serenity, I have so much more available to me when it comes to my own progress, my own recovery. And so that's what I would like the takeaway to be for today is the serenity prayer is an opportunity to ask our higher power for serenity. And one of the ways that we can connect to serenity and that space of serenity is through yoga practice, through meditation, through pranayama, through recovery meetings or phone calls with recovery friends or reading recovery material, whatever your program is, or if you don't have a program, whatever your place in recovery is at this time, we have all of these different tools available to us to help anchor us in the present moment. And when I am anchored in the present moment, I am so much more available for serenity. Serenity becomes a natural byproduct of when I'm doing that emotional, spiritual, physical work. And so today, I invite you to bring in the energy of serenity and notice what becomes possible for you. Notice what opens up for you, what shifts, what progresses in your emotional, spiritual, physical practice. And so when we do our yoga practice, and we'll shift into yoga practice shortly here, when we do the yoga practice, channel in serenity. Ask for higher powers grace for serenity and notice what opens up for you. Notice what becomes available. So invite that into the practice. And I find that when I'm really focused on my mat, when I can tune into the sensations of my body, I do walk away from my mat with a sense of serenity. And so the invitation for today's yoga practice is to invite in serenity. So, with that being said, let's transition into yoga. And I won't be practicing with you, and I do that very intentionally so that I can really focus on offering and delivering the intention for you. And so when I'm focused on my own practice, I'm focusing on my practice. But when I'm focusing on teaching, I want to be fully present to the teaching. So no need to follow along with me. Just listen to the sound of my voice. And if ever at any time it feels confusing or you're not exactly sure what I'm asking, find yourself breathing. And as long as you're breathing and you're on your mat, you're doing yoga. So don't worry about what the rest of it looks like. This is not about having a perfect practice. This is about being present in your own experience. And that's the invitation, to be present in your experience. So make your way to your mat or your carpet or wherever you have a space to practice. And if you have some yoga blocks, those are really helpful, or some pillows or bolsters, or even some blankets that you can create a little bit of extra comfort and support for your practice. So come to lie down on your back, and that's where we'll start today in Shavasana. So come to lie down on your back. And if the back doesn't feel good to you, if it doesn't feel good to lie down backside, you can roll to your side. You can even lie on your belly with your forehead stacked, with your forehead on top of your stacked hands. But find your way into an opening resting pose. And my offering to you is Shavasana on your back, but do what feels good. If you have a blanket, a bolster, a pillow, slide that underneath your knees to create even more support. And then once you make your way to your back, roll your shoulders underneath your body to create a flat connection between your body and the earth. And if it feels good to have your palms facing up, you can do that, or you can rest your hands on your belly. Find a comfortable resting position for your hands. Once you feel comfortable enough, and if you feel safe in this moment, my invitation is for you to close your eyes. And if it doesn't feel like the right thing to close your eyes, you can soften your gaze and set your eyes maybe somewhere on the ceiling or the sky, wherever you are, set your eyes up. And take a landing breath, a breath in through your nose and out of your nose. And begin to build a rapport with your breath. The gentle inhale and the flowing exhale. Without doing anything or changing anything about yourself, notice your breath. Your breath is your number one nutritive requirement for being on planet Earth. Without breath, there is no life in the human body on planet Earth. Breath is a connection to your vital life force energy. And so you're building a relationship with your life force energy. As you become ready, take your arms over your head and stretch your legs, point your toes, take a full body stretch from fingers to toes. Reach your arms behind you, get tall and long, point your toes, and then relax your arms back by your sides. Make some circles with your ankles and your wrists, one direction and then the other. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Keep your left leg where it is. Pull your right knee to your chest. Interlace your fingers around your kneecap and gently pull your right knee towards your right armpit. If it doesn't feel good, you can put your left foot on the floor so that there's not so much distance between legs. If it feels nice to have the stretch, you can keep your left leg straight. You might point, flex, circle your right ankle, move it one direction then the other, but continue to draw your right knee towards your right armpit. Take a breath in and a breath out. One more like that. Breath in, breath out. Release your right leg back to the floor and now pull your left leg in. Interlace your fingers around your left kneecap and gently pull your left knee towards your left armpit. You can keep your right leg straight, or you can put your right foot on the floor to lower the distance between your legs. And gently pull your left knee towards your left armpit. Circle, flex the foot, point any direction that feels good to you. And remember, the intention for this class is serenity. And the way you can really achieve serenity is through connection, direct connection, conscious contact with your breath. Breath in, breath out. One more breath in and out. Now pull both of your knees to your chest, put one hand on each knee, and take some gentle circles in one direction. Roll your lower back against the floor. And when it feels natural to you, you can switch directions, you can move side to side. Bring in organic movement, intentional, intuitive movement by just rolling around on the floor a little bit. Side to side, front to back. Remember, it's up to you to change directions when it feels good. And now keep your knees to your chest. Open your arms into a T shape with the backs of your hands against the floor. Drop your knees to the right for a simple twist. And then if it feels okay on your neck, look over your left fingertips. So your knees are in the opposite direction as your eyes. And notice the sensations that you're feeling. Notice the experience of your physical body. And continue the repetitious flow of breath as a connection point to serenity. We'll take 3 more breaths here. Empty out and then fill up. Breathe out. That's 1. Inhale. Exhale. That's 2. One more breath. And empty it out. Roll your knees back to the center. We'll take the other side of the twist. This time, roll your knees to the left and turn your gaze to the right. So your knees and your gaze are in opposite directions. It might feel good to point your feet or maybe even flex your feet. I like to put the pinky toe edge of my foot on the floor and flex my feet and then give a gentle press on the instep of my feet so that I can ground the twist into the earth. So find a way to ground your twist and use the earth to generate your twist. And then you're breathing in and out, inviting in the grace of serenity into your practice on your mat today. And we'll take 3 more breaths on this side. Breath in and out. That's 1. In and out. That's 2. One more. In and empty out. And then bring both knees back to the center. Put your hands behind your thighs, rock up and down once or twice, and make your way into a seat. Put one foot in front of the other so that you're in a comfortable seated position. And then lean forward over the right hip to send the left hip back. And then lean forward over the left knee to push the right hip back. So you want to be sitting on the front of your sitting bones. Sit up tall, place your hands on your thighs, and start by lifting your shoulders up to your ears. Crunch them up at the top and then drop them down. Do that 3 or 4 more times. Lift your shoulders up, build tension, and then drop them down. Lift them up to your ears and drop them down. Do that 2 more times. Now reach your arms over your head. Interlace all 10 of your fingers. Flip your palms to the ceiling. Press into your sitting bones and reach your palms up. And take a big, full stretch. And slowly release your hands. Bring your right hand to your left knee. Tent your left fingertips behind you and slowly begin to twist your torso to the left. If you can't reach your fingertips behind you, you can rest your hand on your low back or even a block, but find a way to ground your back hand on something and use your right knee to just gently pull yourself to the right. I'm sorry, the left. Take a breath in, lift the crown of your head, and breathe out. One more like that. Breath in and breath out. And gently return back to center. Reach your arms overhead. Take a big full stretch. And we'll twist to the other side. Put your left hand on your right knee. You could bring your right hand either to the floor as tented fingers. You could put your hand on a block, or you could bring your hand to your low back. And use your back and your knee as leverage to turn your chest and your torso to the right. Take a breath in to lift the crown of your head, lengthen your spine, and twist. One more like that. Breath in and breath out. And slowly return back to center. Place your hands back on your thighs. And we'll take some seated cat and cows. Start by rounding your upper back, tuck your chin to your chest, and broaden across your shoulder blades. And then pull your chest forward, arch your back, lift the center of your chest, and open up collarbone to collarbone. And do this again. Round your back, find your seated cow pose. And then lift your chest forward, seated cat pose. Do that again a few more times. Cat and cow, right on your seat. And then we'll expand into these movements. Start to make some circles with your torso, just moving in one direction, a circular motion, like you were churning. Back, front, side to side. I like to imagine that I was a spatula scraping the edges of a big bowl. And when it feels natural, you'll move into a different direction. You could start circling in the opposite direction. If it feels good, you can close your eyes and allow your neck and your head to move with the flow of your body, creating some natural, intentional movement, just churning your body in circles. And if you find a spot that feels good, you might linger there a moment. You might move slowly, or you might move a little bit faster. But whatever you do, notice your breathing. Bring intention into the practice by staying connected to your breath. And notice the effect that that has on your serenity. Connecting breath and movement. Do this for a couple more breaths, moving in circles, seated cat and cow, creating this churning. Notice where you feel it. And then gently make your way back up to a neutral seat. Extend your right leg in front of you and pull your left foot to the inside of your right leg. Start by reaching your arms over your head. Take a big stretch. Turn and face your right foot and then slowly bow forward in the direction of your right foot. Allow your hands to land wherever they land. It might be your foot, it could be your ankle, your calf, your knee, or even your thigh. You don't have to go any farther than your breath can take you. If you find that you're in a yoga pose and you lose connection to a smooth, calm, flowing breath, it's possible you've gone too far. So the recommendation is just to back up a little bit, to notice your breathing and stay connected to that. Let's take 3 more breaths on this side. Breath in, breath out, breath in and out. One more breath. Let it go. And then slowly sit back up. And we'll switch to the other side. Now extend your left leg out and pull your right foot to your inner thigh. And it's okay if your foot's not on the thigh, just somewhere on the inside of the left leg. Start by reaching your arms overhead, lengthen and reach your fingertips up. Turn and face your left foot, and then begin to slowly bow forward in the direction of your left foot. Whether or not you touch your foot is not the purpose of the pose. The purpose is to find length from the tailbone through the crown of your head and to lower your chest just a little bit more forward. Your hands might land closer to your thigh or maybe closer to your foot, anywhere in between. And find that calm, steady flow of breath. And we'll take 3 more breaths here together. Breath in, breath out. In and out. One more. Slowly make your way back up to a seat. Now open both of your legs wide. We'll do a seated wide leg forward fold. Open your legs wide into the shape of a V, only as wide as is comfortable for you. Start by placing your hands on your thighs and just gently lean your chest a little bit forward and see how that feels. And if it feels like you could go farther, start to slowly lean your chest more towards the floor. And if just leaning in slightly is plenty sensation for you, only go as far as your breath can take you. Some folks might be able to lean forward and maybe even rest their forearms on the floor. But if just a slight leaning in is all you need, take what you like and leave the rest. Find what works for you. And remember, the purpose of this practice today is to cultivate the energy of serenity, to bring and call in serenity through the power of higher power's grace. And when we connect with serenity, we're more available for acceptance, courage, and wisdom, almost as a byproduct of our serenity. Notice where you're feeling the sensations and stay connected to sensation as an anchor. to the present moment. Couple more breaths here. And then slowly rise back up. Bring your legs back together and pat your thighs into the floor. Some might call it a yogi drum roll. Just create some movement in your legs to break up any sensation. And then make your way to all fours, a neutral tabletop position. When you make it to all fours, open your knees a little bit wider and take your hands at least shoulder width apart. Start by setting your hands just a little bit forward of your shoulders to take a 90-degree bend out of your wrist. You don't want to put too much pressure on your wrist. We'll do a few more rounds of cat and cow, this time on all fours. Start by dropping your belly, lift the center of your chest. And then press the floor away, round your upper back, tuck your chin to your chest. Start to move through some rounds of cat and cow, naturally and organically in a way that feels good to you. You could start to move into the sides of your body. You could involve your neck and your tailbone. Move in any way that feels like a natural expression of what you need right now. Part of what we learn in recovery, and especially in the yoga of recovery, is to learn what feels good for us, for you, and to ask the question, what do I need right now? And only you can answer that. And so this practice really becomes a way, a low stakes way to try out what feels good and to be able to respond accordingly. And so move your body in a way that feels natural, intuitive. Take a few more rounds. And then make your way into a neutral tabletop. Open your knees a little bit wider if that's possible. Make your way into child's pose. Sink your booty back to your heels. Now, a couple of things. You don't have to open your knees to the edges of your mat if that's too much for you. You can also bring your knees closer together and sink your booty back. You can extend your arms in front of you, or you can stack one hand on top of the other and rest your forehead on top of your hands. But make sure your forehead is resting on something, whether it's the floor, the backs of your hands, or even putting a block underneath your forehead. Create some type of grounding sensation for the center of your head. And with your face closer to the floor, notice your breath. Notice the way the breath feels, the way it sounds, the experience of being you right now. Walk your hands, still in your child's pose, excuse me, walk your hands over to the right side of your mat. Stack your left hand on top of your right hand and try to get your left fingers just a little bit more forward of your right fingers. Breath in and breath out. Walk your hands back through the center. Now over to the left side of your mat. This time stack your right hand on top of your left And slowly slide your right fingertips, maybe even a centimeter, a little bit more forward of your left fingers. Breath in and breath out. Slowly bring your hands back to the center. Make your way back up to a tabletop position and then come back to a seat, just a natural seated position. We're going to take 5 rounds of square breathing. Square breathing is a technique, a breathing technique, where you breathe in for 4 counts, hold the breath for 4 counts, breathe out for 4 counts, and then hold on empty for 4 counts. We'll take 5 rounds. I'll lead you through these rounds of breath and I'll keep count. So all you have to do is focus on your breath. Start by emptying all of the breath out and then breathe in 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, breathe out 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, breathe in 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, breathe out 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, breathe in 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, breathe out 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, breathe in 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, breathe out 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, breathe in 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, breathe out 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4. Take a natural breath. Then, with your eyes closed or a soft gaze focused on one point, take a moment to sit in this still position. Notice how you feel and notice the state of serenity. Notice what serenity feels like in your body. When you know what serenity feels like, you can return to this place. This place is available to you anytime you need it. Notice the experience of being in a state of serenity and what becomes available to you. And I'll finish this practice by saying the serenity prayer for all of us. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I bring my thumbs to the center of my chest. And then I bring my thumbs to the center of my forehead. And I bow my head towards my heart. In honor of each one of you and this practice that we share, I bow to you, my friends. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today for this practice. I hope that you found something that you need and that you walk away feeling maybe just a little bit more serene. Thank you so much for joining.